Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown for Monday, June 30th. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann, and I'm here to break it down. We got 8 games on FanDuel, 6 games on DraftKings, so we're going to dive straight into it. We are going to start by yesterday's perfect lineups and the winning lineups from yesterday's contest, and then we will jump into pitchers to consider today and some stacks. Now, as always, come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all for one low price. Now, let's jump in and see what we can uncover here on this glorious start to the week of good old 4th of July week. So we do have a short week. Hope you guys had a great weekend, and let's check this out. So perfect lineup on FanDuel yesterday, and what do we got here? We had Dean Kremer, who went nuts, put up 49 at 8,200. He went 7 innings, 6 Ks, 0 earned runs, and got the quality starts. So congrats to him. Then we had a 3-man Yankee stack, 2-man Pirate stack. Bogarts heard my Bogarts hate and told me to eat it, but Padres still lost. And then Evan Carter went nuts. Mitch Garver went nuts to kind of round it out. 357.2 with the winning lineup going to T-Bird 37-16, who had Chad Patrick. Patrick did very well today, yesterday. 8 Ks, 5 innings of work. He just didn't get the win, didn't get quality start bonus, or else that would have been a very, very solid game. Then we had a 4-man Pittsburgh, 4-man Yankee stack to round it out. Congrats, T-Bird. You had quite the line, 110K. Now, on to DraftKings. The perfect lineup, Dean Kremer, Jason Werbolowski, and then we had 2-man Pittsburgh, 2-man Yankees, 3-man Yankees, and then some one-offs over here with the 273.45 perfect lineup. And the winning lineup went to third and Schlong, 208.95. They had Leiter, they had Patrick. So, 2 more pay down options here, and then a 5-man Yankee stack. Had Hayes for Pittsburgh and a 2-man Boston. So the old 5-2-1 got it done once again. Congrats to all that played. Congrats to Third and Schlong. Congrats to the winners. And let's dig into today. See what we can uncover, starting with pitchers. On a DraftKings, 6 games over here. So on DK, we do not have the 2 early games, which are Padres and Phillies, and then St. Louis and Pittsburgh. We're going to cover everything as best as we possibly can. Now, highest owned on DK, Drew Rasmussen, 30% owned. On DraftKings, this is a day where there is so much value at pitcher. And a lot of different ways we can go with pitcher. We'll do our best to break it all down. Drew Rasmussen, 30% owned, 7,500 versus the Sacramento A's. Rasmussen's been dealing 3.33 FIP over his last 20, 3.26 over the last 5. K rate's right around that 23%. StatCast data looks good. The A's have struggled a little bit recently swinging that bat. 239 average, 127 ISO, 304 WOBA. Not great. Not a great spot for the A's versus a guy that's been pitching very, very well. I don't mind some Rasmussen. I do think 30% owned is high owned on this slate when there's so many other options we can take, though. So that's my one warning. We do need to watch ownership as the day goes along. A lot is going to change, I think. Next, we got George Kirby, 7,700, 29% owned. I absolutely love Kirby in this spot. He's back home. He's been dealing. Does look like he is starting to round back into form here. 3.69 FIP over his last 5 with a 25% K rate. Now, this is a guy we have watched for the last couple of years. His K per 9 rate at home is like 1 per 9 better than it is on the road. So you gotta like his spot a lot better at home. The upside for him is just way higher at home. And then he's versus a Royals team who versus righties, 241 average, 301 WOBA, 146 ISO. None of that really brings that much fear. The one thing is they don't strike out a ton. So maybe a little bit limited upside here, but Kirby's a guy that can easily go 6 and 90 pitches and rack up 6Ks, and at 7,700, I like that price for him. I'm going to have a decent amount of George Kirby. Just the upside here is for real. Next, we got Garrett Crochet, 10.7K, 27% owned versus the Cincinnati Reds, who are absolutely awful versus lefties. 237 average. They do hit the ball hard, almost a 170 ISO and a 300 WOBA. Garrett has just been absolutely dealing this season too. Low twos FIP. K rate plus 30%. StatCast data looks good. Almost a 27% combined K rate on this in this matchup. I like myself some Crochet. Definitely going to get here. This is an interesting spot. It's in Fenway, 7.5 game total, and we have very nice hitting weather. The game could absolutely go over 7.5 here, but it is Crochet versus Burns. Very interesting matchup for, could be a pitcher's duel, but then also great hitting weather there. So if the ball is getting hit, maybe it flies a little bit. But all in all, I think Crochet is in a good spot, and I'm definitely going to have some. Next, we got Chase Burns, 8Ks, 25% owned. He made his big league debut versus the Yankees, going 5 innings, 3 earned runs, and 8Ks. He has big-time strikeout upside. He faced a very dangerous lineup. Now he gets one that's much, much worse, and striking out at 25% versus righties. Super interested in Chase Burns in this spot. 8K is too cheap. There's just so many options today where the pitcher is cheaper than they probably should be, and 8K Chase Burns is probably one of those spots. Next, we got Logan Webb, 9.7K, 23% owned versus the Diamondbacks. He has fared well versus the Diamondbacks in his career. His K rate is up this year. StatCast data looks good. Another guy with mid twos FIP, very similar to Crochet, but his strikeout rate is quite a bit lower, and he's in a bit of a tougher spot. But Arizona is banged up. There's no Corbin Carroll, so that does hurt the lineup quite a bit. They don't strike out as much either. All in all, I'm interested in Logan Webb. He's a very, very good pitcher, has done well versus Arizona in the past. Don't mind getting there. I do prefer Crochet, but hey, he's also 1K cheaper. I'm going to get to some. Next, we got Carlos Rodon, 19% owned versus Toronto Blue Jays. Look, Blue Jays have been crushing lefties lately. 291 average, 316 WOBA, but very low ISO. They're getting on base, which could be a problem for Rodon, because Rodon can give up the long ball. But all in all, I think it's an interesting spot for Rodon, and I don't mind getting some in this spot. The one issue I see here is the Blue Jays are only striking out 14% versus lefties lately, so that might cause a little bit of concern for him. But he is a guy with a 30% K rate, so the upside is still there. He's just got to make it happen versus the Blue Jays. However, he has struggled versus them in the past, but he's kind of back to his old form today. Maybe he can make it work. I don't mind some Carlos Rodon in this spot. Now let's get to some pivots. 7K Jacob Lopez versus the Rays. Now, Rays hit lefties very well. 321 average over the last 20 with a 353 WOBA. They're getting on base, but they're also striking out because it's a 24.7% K rate. But look what Jacob Lopez has done over the last 5. 3.26 FIP, 1.98 ERA, and a K rate of almost 34%. The dude has been absolutely dealing. Now, over the longer term, 4.29 FIP, 3.93 ERA, 24% K rate. I think he's probably in the middle of these two guys, as far as the two time frames, but he has absolutely been dealing, and we can't, just shut that out. Combined K rate, we have him at 29%. He's only 7K. The upside warrants some look in this spot. Now, as far as weather-wise, Tampa Bay, we do got to worry a little bit that it looks like there's rain before the game and probably rain after the game, but it is summertime in Tampa Bay. pop-up could always happen, so just be warned about that. And then also Trevor Rogers, lefty at 6,300 versus the Rangers, who can't hit lefties. 217 average, 79 ISO, 260 WOBA, just terrible numbers. And Rogers been dealing since he got back. 3.3 FIP over his last 5. Just went 8 innings with 101 pitches and 4 Ks versus Texas. That was at home. He is now away in Texas. But I don't think that matters that much, and I'm definitely fine taking some Trevor Rogers. I think 6,300 is just too cheap. The only issue I see here is he doesn't have a giant ceiling. A 28-point outing from him is probably few and far between. And if you take him and, and say 8K Chase Burns, you're at 14.3. You have a ton of money to spend on hitters, but I don't think we really need to spend that much on hitters today either. So you're kind of in a tough spot. If you go Trevor Rogers, you likely need to take a Crochet and hope that ceiling for Crochet can go there. So that's the only issue I see going that far down on the pay scale today, is that we just don't really have to. There's a ton of 7, 8, 9K guys that are super interesting, but Trevor Rogers is probably priced a bit too cheap. Now, on to FanDuel. High owned over here. We got Wheeler. We got Crochet. Wheeler is 11K over here. Crochet is 11.2K. I do prefer Crochet. Our projections like Wheeler a little bit more, though. Now, there is a little more weather concerns in this game. There is the chance of postponement, but I think more likely is a late start and play type situation, but make sure you watch it as the day goes on. Now, Wheeler's another guy, mid-twos FIP. His K rate is in that 32% range, just like Crochet. StatCast data is not quite as good. He allows a lot of line drives, but only 3 barrel balls. So guys just aren't teeing the ball up very well. And he's versus the Padres, who hit righties pretty well and don't strike out. 16% K rate over the last 20 games. All in all, Wheeler's too good of a pitcher not to consider. Some of the Padres' bats have been struggling lately, so I don't mind some Wheeler. I do prefer Crochet, though. But he is much lower owned, so you might want to have a little bit. Logan Webb at 10.4K, it's fine with that. 8.2K for George Kirby is just too cheap for me. Definitely going to have some interest in him as well as Rodon. Matt Waldron, 6,800. On FanDuel, I'm not playing it, so we don't need to go into it. Trevor Rogers at 7,300. Super, super cheap, but you're going to need some of these studs to fail. It could happen. Chase Burns at 8,800 is a steal as well. Now, let's get into some stacks and see what we can figure out here before we round this thing out. Highest owned, we got Yankees, 94% versus Max Scherzer. It's the ghost of Max Scherzer at this point, I think, in his career. 4.38 FIP. He is not the same guy he used to be. He can have good outing still. He can limit some runs still, but I don't mind some Yankees. That offense is just too good. Projected, highest projected, we got Arizona popping in versus Logan Webb. I don't love that spot. Logan Webb has been good versus Arizona and very good at limiting runs, so that's a tough pill for me to swallow. Highest volume or value, we got Boston versus Chase Burns. Look, Chase Burns is making his second career MLB start. He is a very good prospect, but can he struggle a little bit in the MLB? Yes. So I don't mind a little Boston. It's prospects versus prospects pretty much in this spot. Now, I don't love this Boston offense right now, but I don't mind a little bit. Texas versus Trevor Rogers. While Trevor Rogers is good, got the best of him last week, he is facing them for the second time in a week. And I generally tend to side with the offense with that. So I don't mind a little Texas. They got some bats that can definitely get it done. High ceiling spot. Yankees, Arizona, Seattle. Seattle versus Waka. It's fine. Another spot that I don't love. But that's kind of how this slate is with stacks. Stacks are going to be tough to figure out today. And hitting on them is going to be tough. Highest leverage, we got Tampa Bay versus Jacob Lopez. Look, Lopez has been very good recently, the bigger body of work doesn't show that high of upside. I don't mind some Tampa Bay bats in Tampa Bay, which is a hitter-friendly ballpark. Next, you know what? Let's go over to FanDuel and do the teams tab so we can talk about St. Louis and Pittsburgh as well. All right. Teams tab over here on FanDuel. Highest implied team total for the night is 5.2 for Philly versus Matt Waldron. Matt Waldron last year showed some promise. He had a very good knuckleball, went back in the minors, worked on some things. Now he's back up. I don't think this spot for Philly is as good as it looks on paper. Now, Waldron is a knuckleballer, so if that ball is not moving, or if his knuckleball isn't really locked in, it can be straight up batting practice. So I don't mind some Philadelphia, but I also don't think you can go overboard on this stack if you're making a bunch of lineups. If you're making one, fine. There's huge upside. Matt Waldron could get crushed, but if his ownership is super high on FanDuel, you might want to get away with it. Yankees versus Scherzer covered. Pittsburgh versus Eric Fedde. Eric Fedde, while was very good early in the season, has fallen off a little bit. 4.2 FIP over the last 20, 4.75 over the last 5. Pittsburgh's been swinging it. They just put up double digits yesterday. I don't mind a little bit of pit. San Francisco versus Ryan Nelson. The bullpen's terrible. Ryan Nelson is, like an average MLB pitcher. I don't mind going to it. St. Louis versus Pittsburgh and Andrew Heaney, 5.06 FIP, 5.93 over the last 5. Giving up hard contact, high average exit velocity. I don't mind getting to some St. Louis. Tampa Bay we covered. Baltimore versus Patrick Corbin. This is probably my favorite stack of the day. Especially it goes, if it's going to end up going a little under owned. The one thing here is this Texas bullpen has been working pretty well lately. Patrick Corbin started the year on absolute fire, has cooled off a little bit. I don't mind these Baltimore bats who have been swinging a little bit. The issue is they have been also very, very bad versus lefties. They're going to have to get Corbin out of this game early. Texas versus Trevor Rogers. Bullpen for Baltimore has been a lot better recently. I don't mind having a little Texas. Not going to go overboard. Boston versus Chase Burns. No thanks. Seattle versus Waka. I'm fine having a little. Arizona versus Logan Webb. No thanks. Toronto versus Rodon. Not going to be high on my priority list, as well as San Diego. The A's versus Rasmussen. I don't mind a little bit. It's a good hitting park. Decent hitting weather. But these A's bats have been struggling lately. That's my only concern for going there. So that's going to do it for us today. Hope you guys have a good one. A lot of different ways to go today. It is going to be a little bit of a tricky slate to figure out here. I think stacks are really going to be big. There's likely going to be, 2 teams that do bust out. Hope you guys choose them right, choose wisely, and we'll be back with more tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Peace.